G20. To start off, many of you may be wondering, what does the G20 even stand for? Well, to answer your question, the G20 stands for a group of 20. The G20 is a group of 21 representatives from 20 different countries. The countries involved are South Africa, Mexico, Indonesia, Germany, Canada, India, Turkey, France, Italy, Saudi Arabia, Australia, Argentina, the United States, Brazil, Russia, China, Japan, the UK, South Korea, and the EU, and there are 2 representatives from the EU.
The G20 generally meets every year to discuss international issues concerning the world's emerging and industrialized countries.
Back in September 1999, finance ministers and central bank governors of the formerly established G7 announced to other significant economies of their plans of expansion to ultimately achieve a greater sustainable economic growth. And with that, the G20 was born.
The G20's mandate was and is to achieve economic stability, set regulations to prevent future financial crisis, and modernizing financial architecture, such as treaties and agreements. These 20 representatives meet to discuss controversial events that have major impacts on the world we live in today.
The first official meeting the G20 had on the world economy was on November 14, 2008 in Washington, D.C. The subject of this meeting was to discuss what we know as the financial crisis of 2008. The main topic of discussion was to create a new financial architecture for the future, one that was different from the current system that was implemented after World War II.
Due to the success of this initial summit meeting, it was decided that these world leaders would continue to have annual summits to prevent another major financial crisis. Another summit that took place close to home was the G20 Toronto Summit that took place in 2010.
This particular summit drew much attention in the media due to the violent protests, vandalism, and police brutality that just happened outside of the G20 venue. These riots and protests took place in order to bring attention to unspoken issues that happen throughout Canada. Issues such as neglected Indigenous people, environmental concerns, and low-income families.
The G20 has many advantages to the overall economic growth of the world. These advantages include resolving financial and social problems, strengthening relationships between the world's largest economies, and lastly, the G20 represents 2/3 of the world's overall population.
Although with many advantages come many disadvantages, one of which is that the representatives of the G20 are only those of developed or developing countries. This ultimately neglects those from impoverished countries, for their issues are not recognized.
Overall, the decisions that the G20 makes will ultimately have a direct impact on the Canadian economy and relations with other countries. Citizens of Canada will also be impacted by the G20 as the decisions that are made aim to improve the lives of consumers and producers as well as the economy as a whole. The next G20 Summit of 2017 will be held in Hamburg, Germany.
The end.